Goosebumps is rated Y7 because it may be too spooky for kids under 7.
Well, good evening, Goosebumps fans. It's time to talk about Person to Person Incorporated. So, Person to Person Incorporated is that company in Why I'm Afraid of Bees who actually has this mind swapping technology that apparently is super fast and is better than the internet of the day. So, what happens is that you put that helmet on. Wait, wait, hold on. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. So if Ms. Carmen, which is the person that we usually, that is the person involved, how exactly? Okay, that's weird. Well, I can understand why they couldn't do it, which is the fact of, well, if they need a connection, right? Then you'll have Dirk come to Gary's house, and then they both sit in the same room, and then they put the helmet on, and you can see nothing can possibly happen as bad. But on the other hand, if they actually make it far away, but the question is, how the frick did Dirk get his helmet? So let me get this straight. So she went to Dirk's house, gave him the helmet, then went to Gary's house and gave him the helmet, and Dirk is all alone in his house without a assistant over there being like, okay, just relax and it will happen in a moment. And it's like, you would figure they'll have walkie talkies or something. They'll be like, are we ready? Yes, we're ready. Let's do it. And it's like, huh, weird. Now, the amazing part about all this, and of course, Paparine already touched upon this. I'm just going to add and talk about it. Is number one, this is actually given to children. They don't actually do anything with, you know, parents, no adults. They give this to kids, and we're like, what? Maybe this is a test audience. Maybe they're testing it, and if so, it's like they're testing it on children. You know how messed up that is? It's like, what the frick? And that technically helps the fact of, if they're testing this technology on children, then technically, doesn't that mean that they're test subjects and that's why they don't get paid anything? It's like, and technically, they should be paying them. So I guess the vacation is paying the kids. That's the interesting part of being like, oh, so that means that they're a shell corporation or they're just a business that is held by the government or whoever, and they're just seeing if this actually will be a beneficial thing. And well, then why in the world wasn't she writing about fascinating? So there is a malfunction. It's like, huh? Yeah, this book could have been written better. No offense, Stein, but I'm just saying. So one interesting crazy part is that they have a photo album of the kids within the area. That's a big red flag right there. But since technically it's we just see Ms. Carmen, we don't know if anyone else works there. Well, I'm pretty sure it's okay that girls do it. Girls take pictures of kids in the area. Oh man, but also that just adds home the fact of maybe it's a shell corporation that might be sponsored by the government or something. And well, if it's the government, then oh, what the fuck, man? Why isn't this in another country? No offense, but I'm just saying. Yeah, so it's either A, someone supplying them the photos, or B, they're creepy as hell. And for some reason, they just go to every single kid and be like, hey, can I take your picture? And it's like, what? 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 And it gets even crazier and worse if it's like, oh, nowadays, where it's like, oh, nowadays, you have parents who actually take pictures of their kids or they're with their kids in the picture and they cut out the parent of the picture and just visualize and there you go. And that's where they got the kids' photos for this time. And it's like, oh, wow, they just go on every single person's Facebook that's a parent and what the heck? Anyways, parental permission should be required in this, but the thing is that, well, if they would have went with the smart move of saying this is actually a test subject thing, even though they want to kill the kids, that makes sense why there's no parental permission involved. Which is like, But on the other hand, unless they were giving money out, but they weren't giving money out at all, and yeah, so no money's being paid because, well, without this actually being what it should be, which is again one where they test subjects, kid test subjects, and they're going to do this for some other reason. There's a main plan for this, but right now they're testing to make sure that, oh, we can do this. Again, since they're not doing that, it is kind of weird that person to person incorporated. How exactly are they funded? How, yeah, it's really weird where it's like, I'm pretty sure maybe they're actually doing some testing. Just saying, it makes more sense that they're secretly testing. And one crazy thing that he had was Paparina had was the idea of maybe he does have a permission slip. He gives it to his parents saying, "Oh, it's me to be better in baseball." And since he's going to be better in baseball, and then at the very end, they signed it because at the end of the book, they find out that it's a huge fee, like $555 or something. And you're like, what the fuck? And basically, they just end it as if it's a Home Alone movie. Yeah, but that wouldn't be scary for the kids. It would be scary for the parents. I don't know. Anyways, let's talk about the little thing that happened at the very end. So the technology it actually transfers, right? It transfers the person's mind, and weirdly enough, the bee who's in Dirk's body. Yeah, we already talked about that, but damn. Now, as for the transfer back, because the weird part is that they have no protocol or anything, and it does again make sense that it's a test subject where they're testing it on kids, and pretty sure, hopefully, she was writing in the notes. Must actually find some way to reverse the process or some kind of crap. Which it seems to me that they're able to actually give his brain or give his mind back to Dirk. It's like they could have do it, but they're like they didn't think of it, which is like wow. So let me get this straight. You hired a bunch of idiots, including Miss Carmen. You hired a bunch of idiots in this freaking thing, and it's like, how in the world does this even exist? Now, if it was the opposite thing, then Miss Carmen should actually be smarter, you know? She should be smarter, or at least be like, oh, well, Professor Holdor will be back very shortly. And it's like, he could wait for Holdor, which will be 2 hours, or maybe 5 hours or something, or he can do it amongst himself. Which is like, yeah, it would be cool that she actually is just a secretary slash the helper, or the fact that you just made her smart, which is kind of funny thinking, this does actually make the woman very dumb, am I right? It kind of does. So, anyways, the process that happened. This is what happened is that he actually sacrificed his life. Gary sacrificed his life. He was able to actually do a protocol process because he killed himself. Since he killed himself, he's back in his own mind. So, if he's back in his own mind, and then he pushed Dirk's mind out and went back to where he came from, then basically you can understand what happened. Where it's like most likely Dirk and Gary, they both have the bees mindset, or at least they both actually like the smell of flowers and like bees and crap. So they both were affected by that because of that process, but also the fact that since they shared minds, it's like yeah, since it's kind of like a fun little interesting recycling symbol where it's like okay, well if Dirk actually had hmm, yeah, and the bees involved too. So the bees involved, they both actually are affected by the bee. They both have like at least a little mentality of the bee, where it's like smell flowers and stuff. But also the fact that it should have an effect of where if Gary, because Dirk was in his mind, he's now bit athletic, bit more athletic now. Gary's a bit more athletic. Then that means that Dirk here should actually be a little bit more smart. You know, well, he should be able to actually have an increased IQ or increased intelligence now. So that's basically what happened is the fact of since the technology had a little hiccup, instead of the whole they both transfer nicely back to each other's bodies, it was forced. And since it was forced, that means that some, in quotations, data was left behind in both bodies. But of course, since we don't even know what happened with Dirk, except besides he's friends with Gary now, we have no idea if Dirk actually is struggling in math anymore. Let's see. Anything else? I think that's pretty much it. Besides, let's see. Hmm. Oh yeah, the convenience of having the bee book. It's like he doesn't like bees, but there you go. Hmm. I think that's it. I think that's it. I don't remember anything else that I should be talking about. Oh, besides, there's no protocols. Yeah. So there is no protocols when it comes to someone in the wrong body or one person actually wants to stay. There's no protocol on that. And it would be very smart to actually be like, you know what we need to do is need to write that down. We need protocol. And it's like, how many have they done so far where it's like they don't need a protocol? Or is this the first time that they actually need a protocol? And hopefully, even though this is not the one I was thinking of, which is again, they could actually make them guinea pigs, and Miss Carmen is writing down saying fascinating. You know, it would be smart to be like, she's now actually is writing down, yeah, should maybe have a protocol button, and there you go. Also, I guess it'll be a good note that she's like, oh, well, they fixed itself because it turns out that if the person dies, then they go back to the regular body. If the interloper or something, it's like, yeah, something like that. The interesting part will be how will they actually fix this? Even though I don't even know because well, if they again were guinea pigs, then that means that interesting. No, right, we gotta make sure we can find some way how to not have this interfere with what we're gonna plan to do. It's like yeah, and then it's like it brings a lot more questions if they actually did it this way. Then it's like then who are you guys, and what are you setting this up for? That's the interesting part of where, hmm. Anyways, I'm just gonna end it here. Have a scary day and have a scary night.